I'm Max Clark. This isn't new news, but I want to talk about it anyways. HPE is buying Juniper Networks. Still mind blown over this one. I'm still processing it. What a weird turn of events. Last thing I would have expected with Juniper would have been HPE acquiring them. It makes me think of like Oracle buying Sun Microsystems in some ways. And HPE isn't really known for their like stellar switching and routing stack, which makes, of course, perfect sense that they'd be buying Juniper because Juniper, by all arguments, is the best routing platform on the market. Now, Juniper MXs, if you haven't had the privilege of and pleasure of working with them, are just so cool. I mean, they're great. Cisco finally with the ASR 9Ks and iOS XR made a massive catch up, but they were just behind for like a decade. And anyways, lots of speculation of what's driving this. And one of the core things, of course, becomes HPE needing to round out and shore up their story around their routing, SD-WAN, security, switching, and access point world. And Juniper has missed, which is this cool AI access point. I'm just gonna say AI, right? Because I mean, if you call it AI, then it's got to be great, right? So they've got their access point technology their access points have AI technology, and enterprises love that. But this poses a really interesting question now. Let's say if you were in the market today to go out and purchase, let's say routers. Let's say you're building a new office location, right? So you're going to have to go out and you have to buy some sort of NAT gateway appliance, aka firewall for most people, switches and access points. Who do you buy? Do you buy Aruba? So the HPE. Do you buy traditional HPE switches? Do you buy the Aruba switches and access points? Do you buy Juniper switches and access points? Do you buy Fortinet? Do you buy Meraki? Do you buy Ubiquity? Like, who do you buy? And the crazy thing about this is until this really gets announced and flushed out, and I mean, really what we're talking about is they have to close acquisitions and get through regulatory and all these other fun things, which who knows how long that takes in today's market of M&A being the devil and all these governments preventing it from happening. But are you betting that HP or comes out on top, or Aruba comes out on top, or Juniper comes out on top? And if you're investing into a stack today, what stack's still around in 3, 4, 5 years? I don't know. And until that starts getting communicated, it's hard. Maybe they're smart. Maybe they run these things in parallel for a while before they pull a Broadcom and something gets axed. Speaking of Broadcom, holy moly. Broadcom there's like the meme of like, hold my beer. And I'm going to go off on a tangent for a little bit here. So Broadcom buys VMware, which everybody was already nervous as all heck about, and then goes and immediately does what everybody was afraid of doing, and then just has this moment of like, hold my beer, and okay, so if you don't know, Broadcom buys VMware. VMware had some phenomenal technology. So the VeloCloud SD-WAN platform was VMware. And so VMware also known for their hypervisor technology. So VMware. And then, which was then enterprised with vSphere, and then had service provider implications with vCloud. And then there's other stuff that gets wrapped up into this. There's load balancers, there's configuration management tool. I mean, but the Broadcom's just going like, and just like the Vikings, just going through and just axing everything as quickly as they possibly can, because you got to pay for the acquisition somehow. And from that, they then announce and basically say that if you're not one of our top service providers, we're gonna cut you off, basically. But they don't say what that is, and nobody really knows. And so now we get to go run around with our clients and talk to service providers and ask them, have you received a letter yet from Broadcom saying that you're in, or are you out? Like, because you have to assume you're out until you're in, right? And so now and what's strange about it is like, okay, I understand from a distribution standpoint of you don't want to have a lot of relationships and a lot of deals with a lot of different companies. You can do distribution and you can say, okay, great. Now everything is going to flow through these 10 resellers or 5 or 2 or 1, but that's not what they did. They just said, if you're under this tier, I should stop. That's not what they did. They said, if you're under this tier, you're just out, and that tier isn't defined, and nobody knows what the heck is happening. And this is crazy because now even the large vCloud service providers, and we're talking big, massive infrastructure, so maybe they got the letter and they're still in, but now they have to figure out, like, is this safe, and what's their plan B? So now you've got a situation where not only do we have to evaluate for our clients, are you a VMware shop? Are you a VeloCloud shop? Are you a vCloud shop? Are you safe? Did you yes, you're still going to be in business next year from Broadcom, or you're just already dead man walking. And then in addition to that, we have to start also figuring out, like, what is your plan B step? Because can you trust Broadcom? The answer is you probably can't. So now you got to figure out what comes next. And it is crazy time. So big winners in all this conversation here. This little rant as my dog is still barking at the whatever happened at the door and walked away. Cisco and Fortinet are just having a great time right now because they can just sit on the sidelines and just keep their mouths shut and don't have to do anything. And Microsoft, Microsoft is really happy. Cloudvin, I mean, anyways, I've been trying to avoid this topic for a little while because I didn't want to get too off the rails, and I'm getting off the rails. I'd love to know what you think is going on with all this stuff. And I mean, if you're in this mess, what are you guys doing about it? How are you insulating and protecting yourself from your new benevolent dictators of Broadcom, and how are you mitigating risk? Because in our case, what we've seen so far is mitigating risk, and prudence here is just getting ready for the rip and replace of all of this technology, because nothing has been really communicated that makes anything beyond or less than that feel safe. I'm Max Clark. Comment below, let me know.